Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to the Soundcast. I want to apologize for not having an episode last week. I was really sick, to the point where I wasn't going to school or work, so I wasn't really feeling up to talking on a podcast. So, because of that, last week's topic will get covered sometime in the future. I never really formally announced it, but basically we will talk about that later. I want to talk about New York Toy Fair. And there's a lot of stuff that happened at New York Toy Fair, and that's what I kind of want to talk about. Um, but I don't want to talk about all of it because talking about all of it would probably be impossible, as there's just so much. So what we're going to talk about is the companies that lost it and the companies that got their grooves back. Now, basically, what I mean by this is that I found in particular two companies lost my interest with this toy fair, and two companies gained back my interest where it wasn't existent recently. So let's first talk about companies that have lost me. And in terms of lost me, I mean their product showings and offerings either indicate to me that I don't like the direction their lines are going in, or I don't like what they showed and think they should have shown something else. So let's talk about Hasbro. Now, Hasbro did a pretty strong showing for Star Wars, showing the 40th anniversary figures, and I think it's great. I would like to see some more new figures as opposed to just three, but that's besides the point. 40th anniversary Star Wars is going to last all year. There's definitely going to be new stuff later on. And that's not really too much of a problem. Marvel Legends is going strong. The part where I bring up issue is Transformers. I'm having kind of a bad time with Transformers lately. Every figure I pick up, the joints are tight for about 5 seconds, and I transform it once, transform it back to robot mode, and they become floppy messes. Leader class figures aside, Voyagers, Deluxes, Legends, and Titan Masters, if I transform them once, they're pretty much dead. Which is really sad because a lot of them have great designs and their characters being made that I've wanted for years, but in hand, the figures aren't solid. The plastic is cheap, the figures aren't solid, and they cost $17 for a Deluxe, $25 for a Voyager, and now $12 for a Legend. They're not worth it anymore. And I understand that, price and cost have gone up for Hasbro, so they have to raise the prices, but the quality of plastic that they're being produced at is so low. I wonder why, why are they not cutting back in other areas? I think that doing a whole line of Headmasters was a cool concept, but it may have cut into the quality of the overall figures, which I think is not good in the long run. That's also my biggest problem. We have a line full of Headmasters, and yet there are so many original Headmasters still missing. Where's Apeface? Where's Snapdragon? Where's Nightbeat? Siren? Okay, Nightbeat and Siren got Titan Masters. Why aren't they getting full figures? And this is my biggest problem with Hasbro right now, is that they're making characters that don't need to be Headmasters, like Six Shot or Astro Train, Blitzwing, Octane, Overlord, Black Shadow. Also, why the heck are they making Black Shadow and Overlord? I understand their character prominence in the comics, but it seems very odd choices to be making at mass retail. But we'll get to that in a second. The thing is that they keep making Titan Masters thinking they're making full figures. So we got a Titan Master Ramhorn. I guess that's our Ramhorn for now, which kind of sucks because I wanted a consistent Ramhorn with the other cassettes. Where the heck are the easy repaints, as in, doing the blue version of Frenzy Rumble and doing Rewind? Where are those? Instead, they're just making random decisions on what figures get made, it seems. For new leader class figures, we have Overlord, who's cool, and I think he works with the Titan Master gimmick because he was a Power Master originally, but it just seems odd that we're getting him over other characters. The leader class assortment, I think, is probably the one I had the least problems with. What I have problems with is the Voyager class assortment. So we got this Optimus that was a G2 based. That's cool. I understand the reference. It's neat. It turned into Octane, so mold reuse. And then you got the Megatron that they released in silver, which they really could have released in green. It would have been a G2 Megatron. And then that's been made into Blitzwing, which that's fine. The question I have is that in the original G1 toy line, you have Apeface and Snapdragon, larger than the other Headmasters, and are triple changers. So you have a Voyager class scale, which is larger than Deluxe, and our Headmasters, and our triple changers, and yet the original triple changing larger sized figures aren't being made. This is very, very concerning. Especially with Ape-Face being relegated to Titan Master, I'm convinced he is never coming out as a full figure, because none of the Titan Masters except for Brawn have gotten full figures. And Braun's not even getting like a deluxe, he's got a legend, so that doesn't even count. It's not even the same type of area. But basically they're thinking that, oh, we released ahead of this guy, and now we don't need to release the full figure, which is really dumb. I think that, just like with Combiner Wars, they decided to do something else instead of finishing off the main sets. I think that the Optimus Combiner and the Skylynx Combiner for Combiner Wars were bad steps in the wrong direction because those figures didn't sell very well at retail. Skylynx never even made it to retail, but his limb components, the other Autobots, didn't sell well in my area. None of the Autobot limbs sold well. Unless they were part of a main combiner, they did not sell well. Same thing with the Optimus Prime and the Battle Core Optimus. Anything that wasn't a main combiner didn't sell. So I guess Hasbro thought, oh, well, those didn't sell. How about we just make a bunch of non-Headmaster characters and see if they sell? And it's working for the most part. I think that the Titans Return is much more successful than Combiner Wars. But Combiner Wars never gave us Abominus, Predaking, or Piranacon. And it didn't even give us Computron until midway through Titans Return. So it's just, it's kind of confusing on their part why they have once again cut back on the actual characters that fit the theme. So I think that it's kind of bugging me that characters aren't getting made, especially a lot of these ones that aren't getting made are in the Marvel G1 comics, which is my favorite G1 media, and I really want to see. And especially one in particular was Thunderwing. And Thunderwing is simple. It's simple to make a Thunderwing. They already made Black Shadow from Victory. Again, I don't know why they made Black Shadow. He's not even a character that ever appeared in media over here in America unless he popped up in IDW, instead of making Thunderwing. And Thunderwing was a character in the Marvel G1 comics, had a toy released over here, and appears in the IDW comics. So why make Black Shadow the Japanese character over the Thunderwing? It makes more sense for the mold to be used as Thunderwing in America and then taken to Japan and made into Black Shadow. But for some reason, that's just not the case. And the thing is, I wouldn't have counted out a repaint into Thunderwing, because it's an easy repaint. You just paint him white and purple and give him a new head, except they decided to make a Titan Master for Thunderwing to put in a box set of figures. Which, that's really frustrating, because that's the easiest repaint that could be possibly made next to the Frumble repaint and Rewind. And yet, they decided, oh no, we're just going to stick his head in a box. We don't need to make a full figure. And I'm just like, really? You take one of the best Marvel G1 characters who has appeared in multiple media in America. He doesn't appear in Japan anywhere, so I don't know why Japan would make him, which pretty much means we're not getting a Leader Class Thunderwing, which really sucks. I think that would have been a really cool figure. But on that tangent, I think that Hasbro and Transformers is kind of losing me, because its character choices are very strange, and while it's nice to get Broadside and Blitzwing and Octane, we could get those in any line. A basic Transformers line could get those. We don't need a Headmaster gimmick to get them. And yet, the ones that need a Headmaster gimmick is Ape-Face and Snapdragon, and they're nowhere to be seen. Titans Return for me has become very disappointing between the quality control issues that I'm having every single time I pick up a figure. I'm worried when Six Shot gets here. I don't know how he's going to be turning out, especially since I've really wanted Six Shot for a long time now. But I really wish the quality was there, and I think if the quality was there, I wouldn't have as much of an issue. I'd still complain about things, but yeah. And then also, it's just kind of strange how they're releasing these two box sets of figures, and they're making one of each of the Autobot and Decepticon clones, but not the other. So I'm just, like, I'm questioning a lot of Hasbro right now. It's like, you starting some things and then not finishing them. It took them 3 years to make Insecticons, though, so should I really be surprised? I think that Hasbro had a great concept with Titans Return that is not executed well. And that's why I think I might stop collecting it full-time. I'm probably just going to pick up, I got Six Shot on the way. There's a couple deluxes, and I want to get the triple changers, but other than that, I think I'm pretty much out. And let's talk about another company I'm out with, DC Collectibles. What the heck happened to you? DC Collectibles, for the longest time, for a couple years, I said, hey, this is the best toy company out there. They're producing the best action figures at good price points with high-quality figures and great accessories. And I was feeling that all the way through like the first half of the Batman Animate line. But lately, as in the last like 6 months or so, I feel like they've fallen off the rails. They've gotten very expensive, and they've gotten lower quality. I'm having a problem lately where every animated series figure I've picked up recently, because I've been collecting every one of the Batman the Animated Series line up until recently. I got Clayface in, and Clayface broke on me. He fell over on himself and broke his own hand off, which that's just unacceptable. His paint scratched so easily, removing him out of the box left marks on him. And overall, I've been having issues with figures fall over, and they fall like 3 inches to the ground on a shelf, and then their legs or arm snaps off. I've had 2 Batgirls break on me. I've had a Batman break on me. I've had accessories break on me. And overall, if I'm spending $28 a figure, I kind of hope that the quality is at least a little bit better than that. And then the other problem I'm having is that they're putting everything in multi-packs these days. So let's run things down. Okay, a $28 figure will come with a set of hands and some accessories. This goes for icons too. I stopped collecting icons because they're small and their accessories aren't great, and the articulation is just so flawed. Like they have great double jointed knees and elbows, and they have great torso articulation, but no waist joints and no thigh swivels kill the entire thing, because all the ankle joints that they're given and all the knee joints they're given are completely useless because there's no thigh swivels to accommodate for it. It's like making highly articulated figures and then just stopping halfway. So that's icons though, okay? Let's talk about DC Collectibles and their animate line, which is like a big selling point for them. There is one new single figure announced, which was Batgirl from the Batman the Animated Series. Everything else is multi-packs. This Batman and Bruce Wayne pack I have sitting on my desk for Batman Beyond is great. I think it's got 2 good figures, except Bruce Wayne's too big, and the whole set was $65. It's only 2 figures, so at 2 figures, okay, 2 figures and a Bat Hound, but if they're 28 apiece, normally, like separate figures are 28 apiece, so 28 times 2 is 56. And then you get to 65, I guess because of the wings and of the Bat Hound, but at $28, Batman Beyond should come with wings. Just saying. The pricing can be whatever they want because they're selling directly to the collectors through comic shops. So why do they need to have multi-packs in general and making exclusive figures to multi-packs? For example, I can understand packing Lois Lane with Superman, and that's a set I'm going to pick up. It's $55, and it's not too bad. I mean, that's a little... I mean, $55 isn't bad. 2 figures is $56. That's a good price. Okay, it's a 2-pack. They got hands. Great. I'm going to pick that up because, honestly, I want Superman and Lois. The problem I have is the $175 5-pack. Okay? Let's see. $175 divided by 5 is $35. So each of the figures in the Rogues Gallery 5-pack are $35. They don't come with extra accessories at all. And they're just, it's $35. Okay, so we got Bane, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, and 2 others I can't remember on the top of my head. Or one other, I think. Yeah. Bane, Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc, somebody else, and Renee Montoya. Renee Montoya is the only way to get any version of her. And she just comes with a repack of Harvey Bullock's gun, and it looks ridiculous on her. Just saying. But basically, like, they come in a fancy-ass box. So it's like a nice box. It's like a prison cell. But, like, what's the point of them being so expensive? $175 is a lot for 5 action figures. Like, I don't get the pricing. If you're pricing your other figures at 28 apiece, don't make the multi-pack have them for 35 apiece. That's a lot of money. And it's too much. Like, it's so much that that was the point where I decided that I was done with the Batman animated line. Was I got Clayface and he broke, and this thing went up for order at $175, and I was just like, no, I'm done. I'm done at this point. Like, that's pretty much it for me. I can't spend that much on so few figures. It's really kind of ridiculous. And that's the problem with all of DC Collectibles' stuff, is they're just too expensive. And they used to be good. They used to be $25 or $20 for some figures, but mostly like $25, which was manageable. I mean, I could do $25 for a figure. That's not bad. But then, it's just they raise the prices. And I understand costs going up, but at the same time, that's a lot of money. And I think doing a $175 5-pack, which the other figure is Poison Ivy, by the way, I think, and especially putting like people's favorite Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, and Killer Croc designs in there too, like that's suspicious. Especially since the first Killer Croc from the New Adventures came with baby doll and several accessories and was a $25 figure, and now he's a $35 figure and barely comes with anything. Heck, even the Girls Night Out 5-pack is $80, and that's 5 figures. So why is the Gotham City Rogue set $90 more? It's just I don't get the price increase. It's so radically done, I can't afford to buy them anymore. Yeah, so moving along, the other problem I have with DC Collectibles' Animate line is the Expressions pack for Batman, because they have packed animated Batman too many times now. We got the single packed version, that accessories that the Robin and Batman 2-pack with the Bat Signal, accessories that one didn't have, was in the single pack, and then also he was packed in with the Phantasm, and now he's packed in with a bunch of extra accessories that I wish I could just buy an accessory pack. DC Collectibles does not need to put another figure with the pack. They could just sell the accessories on their own. But, you know, that's what they did. They have DC Icons has accessory packs, so I don't know why the Batman and Joker expression packs have to come with figures. It makes them more expensive, and it makes it not worth it. I think that's pretty much down to it. I do think the DC Bombshells action figures do look fantastic, and I do want to pick up several of those. So let's talk about the one good thing about DC Collectibles. I think that they've actually nailed for pricing and quality control and availability is the DC TV line. I think the best part about this is it's the subtle toy line. It's not a massive thing. Like the Animate line just gets too many releases. I didn't even talk about the $175 Batcave diorama that comes with an Alfred figure. That thing is the same price as the Batwing. And it's just a Batcave-like set piece that lights up. Okay, sure. Let me just say, DC Collectibles just loves the price $175, I guess, because they have two $175 items releasing within 2 months of each other. That's too much for anybody trying to collect everything. DC TV, let's talk about that. The Arrow, the Flash, Legends of Tomorrow figures, I've always enjoyed these figures. They're larger size than the normal DC Collectibles stuff. They come with pretty good accessories, and they look really good and have good likenesses to the actors. I've enjoyed collecting the entire line up to this point. I have every single figure in the line, and I'm still going to buy them. They're fantastic. On display here, they have the Flash and Arrow 2-pack, which I think was like a $60 2-pack, which that's not badly priced. That's two $25 figure, or two $30 figures, but that's about the right price, I think. On display, they have Vixen, who looks absolutely fantastic. Martian Manhunter looks decent. Constantine, who looks amazing. Supergirl, who looks so much better than the last time they showed her. Hawkgirl and Zoom and Firestorm are in package because they're coming out soon, which is great. Zoom seems to have given more accessories with some lightning effects, which is awesome. New figures include Kid Flash and White Canary, which are two that I've been waiting for them to produce for a while now, especially White Canary. She's kind of the main legend we're missing. And then the Atom has been delayed from a spring release to a fall release. And I gotta say that this Atom looks good, but there's a better one coming from a different company. And we'll talk about that in a minute. In terms of icons, I think the 7-pack of Justice League figures is an insane pack, but it's really cool. I think that's awesome. Just getting the whole Justice League in a Rebirth style. And they also have a Hush Nightwing and a Rebirth Supergirl. The thing I'm most excited for from the DC icons is the Super Sons 2-pack of Damian Wayne and John Kent as Robin and Superboy. I think that those two have my favorite comic right now, and they're a great set. They're also making a Death of Superman 2-pack, which it's cool. It depicts the battle of Superman versus Doomsday. That's neat. I'm not probably going to pick that up. I own so many figures of Superman and Doomsday. This one just has a fancy base. But that one's also like $75. So DC Collectibles, I think, is overpricing themselves in a lot of areas, especially with how many multi-packs they have coming out instead of single figures. Especially when they don't need to sell multi-packs. They can sell single figures directly to comic shops. In terms of companies that have turned things around, I say that they've turned around. Playmates has done a fantastic job with Voltron, and they have a lot of great figures coming out. Mostly stuff that we'd saw at a previous toy show, but really great stuff. They've also turned around TMNT as there's a lot of new figures and a lot of clever repaints that aren't just the Turtles. There's repaints of Bebop, Rocksteady, Leatherhead, Casey, April. It's kind of refreshing the line, which I think is great. The company that got their groove back was Mattel. Mattel, let me tell a quick story about Mattel. Now, Mattel made the fantastic DC Universe Classics toy line. That line had such a broad variety of characters, and it had collect and connect parts to build larger Build-A-Figures. They didn't worry about name recognition in a lot of cases. They would put assortments in, so you'd have a wave with like a Superman, but you'd also have somebody like, oh, I don't know, Forager. Forager would pop up in a wave. Like, who makes figures of Forager? DC Collectibles doesn't. I think DC Collectibles' biggest flaw is they make comic-styled figures, and yet they never make any obscure characters. They simply stick to their main counterpoints. For example, Icons is making another Robin, which we've gotten plenty of Robins, and another Supergirl, and another Nightwing, and another Superman and Doomsday. They're not making anything new with Icons. It's remakes of same characters that have had figures before, with the exceptions of Static Shock and Superboy John Kent. Those two have never had figures before. That's 2 out of the entire lineup. DC Collectibles has only ever made 1 Mira figure during DC Direct's Brightest Day. They've only made 1 comic-style Vixen. They've only made 1 Batwoman. They've only made 1 Bumblebee, which was only in the Bombshells line, not even in the main line. And they made 1 Katana in the New 52 line. All those characters are popping up in Bombshells, and yet they never got regular comic-based figures, which I think is really a shame. Let's flip over to Mattel. Now, Mattel has stumbled. They canceled the DC Universe Classics line due to low sales. Understandable. The line was starting to peter out, mostly due to bad character choices. But they decided, all right, let's do a subscription on Matty Collector. And Matty Collector, that's a whole tangent for another day. That website was a disaster. That was a trash fire that kept burning. But they did that, but that got canceled due to low sales. And mostly because a lot of people collecting DC stuff don't want every single figure. It's not like He-Man where people want every single figure. DC, it's very pick and choose. And a lot of collectors, for me, I'm more of just everything. But, you know, moving along. Then they decided, oh, let's put this DC Multiverse line out, which was just 3.75-inch figures, mostly Arkham series based. That kind of flopped. Then they decided, all right, Batman v Superman's coming up. We want to do figures for it, but we also want to start doing comic-based 6-inch figures again. And that's when they came out with the DC Multiverse 6-inch line, which started out really rough. They were only releasing 3 figures in a wave, so you'd have to have 2 waves to build a figure. The Justice Buster wave was very flawed. I want to do a video on that wave, because there's some good stuff in there. It's just very strange. They did a wave of movie figures for Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. And then they did the New 52 Doomsday wave, which was fantastic. And coming out in stores soon, is the King Shark wave, which is probably the best lineup of figures I've seen since DC Universe Classics. And they have not let the momentum stop. They have picked this up, and they are going nuts. So let's start out with the DC Multiverse Wonder Woman wave. Now, this is for the movie, so we're getting a training gear Wonder Woman, a Wonder Woman with a cloak, probably a standard Wonder Woman. We're getting Queen Hippolyta for the first time in an action figure form, and we're getting Steve Trevor. Great lineup. They also build Ares, which is the first time we've seen Ares. So, really great stuff there. Overall, not two complaints there. Let's talk about the next wave, which is the DC Multiverse Gordon Batman Armored Batsuit wave, which was the Batsuit that the James Gordon Batman used. It comes with a figure, in that wave there is a figure of the Atom from Legends of Tomorrow, who comes with an unmasked head and a miniaturized Atom, which is just kind of amazing because the DC Collectibles one comes with a couple little effects and a few hands, and is $8 more and doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure part. This Atom comes with a miniature version of himself and an unmasked head. That's really incredible. Honestly, I feel like this is the better of the 2 Atom figures. Also in this wave, we have a Rebirth Batman, which is standard, but there you go, there's your one Batman. This is the kind of thing that I've been looking for with Multiverse, is just put out one of the traditional characters, and then make everybody else around that, so that way you still have your, like, prominent character, but, you know, you're good to go. Not like multiple Batmans in a wave. Here's one Batman. We also get the Duke Robin from the Gordon Batman storyline, which is a great counterpoint to the Build-A-Figure Gordon Batsuit. We also have the Reaper from Dark Knight, or Batman Year 3. That's just... I don't even know where that idea came from, but that's really cool. I think that's great. And for the first time ever, we have an action figure of Batwing. Somebody who's existed for 6 years now and yet has never had a figure. DC Collectibles, what are you doing? We kind of went over what they're not doing. Moving along to the Clayface wave, we have Green Lantern Jessica Cruz, a very recent character who is pretty popular, and yeah, very recent. Like, she only debuted, I think, in 2016, and she's already got a figure in the Mattel line. She's not scheduled till fall, but here she is. She even looks like she has, like, ball-hinged wrists, too, which is kind of nuts. And she comes with a green energy effect. Fantastic. I think she looks amazing. And she'll go good with the DC Collectibles Simon Baz that got released a couple years ago. Also, we have Rebirth Superman, who I hope they tweak the head sculpt on a little bit. He's looking a little funky. But yeah, he's like the prominent character. And we have Batwoman. Batwoman, who has not had a figure since the 52 figure that DC Direct released, finally has an action figure again in the modern day with modern articulation and an unmasked head. I can't wait for this figure. I'm so excited. Clayface looks fantastic, having 2 alternate hands of a spike ball and a blade, and hopefully he's a lot sturdier than the animated Clayface from DC Collectibles. In fact, I can almost guarantee it. He'll definitely be a nice replacement for the DC Superheroes Clayface, who is now degrading on me. We also have a TV Martian Manhunter from Supergirl, who has a Black Mercy plant, which is just crazy. We also have a new Two-Face, which Mattel hasn't made a new Two-Face since the Gotham City 5-pack in 2009. So overall, DC Multiverse has just done a complete 360, and Mattel as well is just doing 180, not 360, my bad. Mattel as well, they got a doll line for Wonder Woman, as well as more DC Superhero Girls dolls, which make my mom happy, including Killer Frost. They also have, like I said, the King Shark wave coming out, which also has a Toys R Us exclusive Damian Wayne Robin that also has an alternate head for King Shark to make him the comic accurate version instead of the TV version, which is just great. Also, they do have a Power Connects figure assortment for Justice League Action, which is basic 5-inch action figures for Justice League Action, which is awesome, because that's what I think people are looking for. So overall, Toy Fair for me, I was expecting a lot from DC Collectibles and Hasbro, and was really let down, and I wasn't expecting anything from Playmates or Mattel, but was really impressed, especially with Mattel. I feel like they've gotten back to what DC Universe Classics was several years ago, and at $20 a figure, they're running $20 a figure still, where Hasbro and Marvel Legends is going 22. Mattel and DC Multiverse is stuck with about they're $20, and that is great because $20, 6-inch figure with an accessory or two and a Build-A-Figure part. I'm calling that a pretty good deal. So overall, that is pretty much it for the Soundcast this week. Stay tuned for next Friday for a new episode, and be sure to check out my Uchu Sentai Kyo Ranger reviews that I posted this week, as well as the Power Rangers movie Legacy figures. And stay tuned for more Power Rangers reviews, and also stay tuned for DC Multiverse reviews. I want to go over the Justice Buster wave, and the New 52 Doomsday wave, and then the King Shark wave when it comes out. I kind of want to review DC Multiverse. I think this line has a lot going for it, and not a lot of people are talking about it. So, definitely cool stuff. Anyways, talk sounds. Sound out saying goodbye.